Appreciate William Bush speaking for us today. Being the rookie in this, he got the 8:30 on Monday morning assignment. And actually, when we think about who's going to be an 8:30 speaker, they have to be speakers in topics that folks are interested in. And so he is both of those. Let me just tell you, William is a graduate of Freed-Hardeman last spring with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication and Fine Arts, a minor in Bible text, and he and I had the privilege of being in multiple classes together. Grew up in Evansville, Indiana. He's an avid Tennessee Vols fan. But in spite of that, we're very happy to have him with us. We're glad. That was for any Vandy. I'm not a Vandy fan, but any Vandy fans in the room. But we're excited about having him with us. He's a currently grad assistant at Austin Peay State University, working in the sports broadcasting department, and he is working on a master's degree in media management. He is a key cog in Horizon's leadership camp, and he is in charge of our video work and all the videoing that goes on all through the week and putting together the daily summaries. I just cannot begin to describe to you the hours and hours of work that he puts in during Horizons. And so I appreciate him sharing his expertise in video and technology with us as we think about how we can use those same things to reach our young people. So I'll turn things over.
Well, I'd like to also really thank Brother Kurt. I was in a couple of classes with him. One of those was the prison epistles, and that was my favorite class that I got to be with, teach. He also taught one that was electronic evangelism. And to be honest, I did not enjoy that class, Kurt. I was, of course, a media degree. I was taking a media degree, so I was learning about all the videos, all the audio, and that sort of stuff. And so when I took his class, it was just kind of a review of everything. So I was falling asleep in it. Me and Daniel were sitting in the front class, probably cutting up and driving Brother Kurt crazy.
Amen.
But I will admit that class probably changed my life more than I care to admit, because that's when I met Brandon Edwards, which allowed me to go to Louisville a year or so later, which really got me started doing the Horizons, doing the videos for church. So I thank both Brandon and Kurt for that opportunity. That meant the world to me. Let's jump into this, because I got a lot of material. Hopefully I'll answer some of the questions you had as you were coming into this class or saw the topics of this class. It's a really broad topic. I asked a ton of people, what do you expect to hear when you see this title, this class? So I'm hoping it covers some of those things. Just to start off, I really hope you must have a purpose when you make videos. I hope you have a purpose for your ministry, and those videos should align with that purpose. Second, videos will not fix your ministry. They're not going to fix your attendance records. They're not going to fix that crazy kid that won't shut up in your class. They're not going to fix all those issues that you might think videos will fix. It's a supplement. Second, you have a huge responsibility when you're posting videos, when you're adding all this sort of stuff on social media. You become very vulnerable. The church becomes vulnerable when you post stuff that anybody can comment on, when anybody can write something about the church, or it even becomes vulnerable with maybe something you say, or what you put on the videos. That's really important, something you shouldn't take lightly. Even if it is just some crazy video that you come up with, it's got to have a purpose. It's got to align with those things that you've already developed in your ministry. So with that said, what is your purpose as a minister? I'll let this open up. What is your purpose as a minister?
Minister to people.
Okay. Minister to what people? Some of the room, I guess it's youth ministry work, or
for me, I reach out into the pool of the opportunity I have, which is local schools, my actual congregation I work with, and I help and I guide them in what aligns with the Bible.
Now, as Kirk said, I wasn't a Bible major here at Freed. I had several Bible major friends. My dad graduated, so I've grown up around it. So I didn't take Prep and Dale. I didn't take Fundamentals of Youth Ministry. But I tried to come up with a mission statement, and I hope this sort of maybe can fit to your mission statement. But can video videos fulfill this mission statement right here? Can it help aid some of this mission work that you have? Absolutely. But I really hope that you create your videos with this in mindset all the time. Even if it's, I don't know, I probably made this video once, of a guy in a gorilla suit and a guy in a banana suit, and the guy in the gorilla suit's chasing the guy in the banana, and the next thing that pops up is come to our lock-in. Does that fulfill this mission statement? Well, why'd you have the lock-in? Well, it's to get all our kids together so they can tear up everything in the church building, right? No, it's to build relationships. Maybe you have a devotional at the lock-in. Maybe it's so they can invite their friends to the lock-in. And that video helps them remind, hey, that I need to sign up, or hey, I need to go to that. But that's really pointing to what? The relationships you're building, the spiritual application you can apply to that. That goes back to right here. So make sure, even if it's some crazy, stupid video you're making, everything comes back to your goal right here. Again, secondly, videos will not fix your ministry. Videos will not fix your attendance numbers. They will not fix your misbehavior. Videos cannot save their souls. Videos are like a supplement. Think about your workout or health supplements. Jared, our last semester, we were roommates together, and he took every supplement I think exists when he was on his diet. He was doing all the workout supplements, all the health supplements, because he didn't like vegetables, so he had to have something that replaced vegetables. And each morning it seemed like he just grew bigger and bigger. But that wasn't because of the supplements, that was because he was working out 4 times a day. The supplements only aided in that process. Same thing with videos. When you go back to this is your main work right here. Videos are a supplement. They aid in that process. They're not going to fix any of those issues, but it should, again, always be pointing to your main goal. Videos will not cure a young person's heart. That comes with direct contact with the Word of God. Again, posting content with the church's name makes the church vulnerable to negative publicity. You can't control what other people will post, and you really need to be mindful and conscious of watching what else goes out there, what other people are posting about it. Monitor those things so it doesn't hinder somebody else from coming to God. All right. The rest of the way I'm going to break this up, I have ideas, tools, and the effective videos. So ideas is almost a brainstorming thing of what videos you can maybe have out there, videos that I've made before in the past, maybe videos you've made before in the past. We might even discuss some of that if I don't mention some of the things you've done that's helped your ministry. Next thing is tools. If it's media tools, like video production tools, like iMovie or Final Cut Pro, stuff like that, I'll just mention that briefly to you. If you want to know how to build videos on those, you can look up YouTube, but I know I won't have enough time to cover that sort of stuff, so I'll just briefly mention that. And then finally, I'll talk about the effects of videos in ministries. I message all kinds of people online that I knew, like Jerry Elder, that you see those Facebook Live videos that he's doing all the time. I messaged Brandon. I messaged several other people just to see what they said about how video affected their ministry. So we'll discuss that briefly here at the end. So first off, some ideas. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive list. So if you have any ideas that you'd like to share with everybody, I'd love to hear them. But we'll start off. Here's my 5 sort of categories of videos. First is promotional videos. And I think of this like stuff I've done for Horizons, where it's just a bunch of short clips of the kids doing stuff, and then Horizons 2016 or Horizons 2017 pops up. These are short videos, normally ranging between 10 seconds and 30 seconds. I made several of these for our social club, Chi Beta here, where me and Daniel and Jared or somebody like that it was like the banana and gorilla costume. We're running around, and then just to introduce, to remind people of what's going on. It could be reminding them to sign up for an event, invite their friends to come, or just get them excited about your next upcoming trip. Maybe you're thinking, well, that kind of requires a creative or at least crazy mind, and I don't have that. Well, I can't say I'm exactly creative either. That normally came from a 2 o'clock where we're all sitting in the dorm thinking, what in the world can we do? And then that's what came out on video. So I won't share those links to you because you'll judge me afterwards. So if you're struggling to think of something creative, go and ask your kids. That'll be more of an impact to them if they say, hey, I made that. Or, hey, we did that. That was awesome. You'll have more of a response to your videos than if you just did it in your church office one day. So I really stress to have your kids part of that. Also, don't go over a minute with these kind of videos. Think about it, kids on Snapchat now are watching videos that are no longer than 10 seconds, and normally they skip it after it's halfway done. So they're not gonna watch your 1 minute video. 30 seconds is like a commercial. You think on TV, you can hardly sit through those commercials. So 30 seconds is, I say, your limit on how long you can do these kinds of videos. Like I said, it's not too hard. Get your kids involved. They do it on their own every day, posting on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Secondly is highlight videos. And Kirk mentioned some of these. I also do these at Horizons. Normally they play them in the morning, and it's just kind of the recap of the day where it's all the kids would film it, and I'd put all the clips together, but it's just clips of all the kids doing whatever they do at Horizons. And it's got fun music playing in the background. When I was thinking about these highlight videos, why would you use these in your ministry? And I thought back to when I was in the youth group, and my dad, he's of course our youth minister, he would post pictures on our youth board of random stuff that took place during our last youth event. And all the kids would gather around, and we'd laugh at so-and-so posing funny. And then by the end of it, I think everybody would have a mustache on their face or something like that. These videos would pretty much serve the same purpose. Rather than just posting them on your bulletin board, you're posting it on your Facebook wall or your youth page. These are just to get kids excited again about the last youth trip. They can share with their friends. If you went on some fun trip and their friends see it on Facebook and they're like, hey, that looks awesome, I want to be a part of that. It can be an evangelistic tool. Also be sure, if you have a smaller youth group, if you got 10, 15 people in it, make sure you get everybody in the video, everybody in pictures, stuff like that. That's really important to our kids today, to be included in stuff like that, tagging them in the post, just making sure their picture's on there, because that's why they're looking for the videos. They're looking for their self in it. And if they're not in there, it might disappoint them. I know it's something you've got to really pay attention to, and that sort of thing. It's really important to this generation today. Kids are actively looking at themselves in these videos, so their attention span's a little longer. That way, it doesn't have to be just a 30-second video. I put the length of a normal song, so 2 to 5 minutes. Just pick a song, fun song that the kids might like, put several clips together. Make sure the song's not like a Stairway to Heaven type song or American Pie type song that's like 20 minutes long. Just a fun, active, quick song that you can put together. Third one, special events. And this was sort of an umbrella category for me, and maybe we can discuss this a little bit more in detail with anybody else's ideas. But these are the videos I think of the team or the senior banquet slideshows that you might put together. The youth rally introduction videos, the youth rally at Washington Avenue in Evansville. They made, 3 or 4 videos that introduced each keynote lesson. And they all sort of had a theme together that ran through with the theme of the youth rally. It also had the same storyline, I think, too, didn't it? And it was all just setting up at Horizons. They do the same thing. And this is more of a way to sort of calm the kids down. You know how they are when they're sitting in the pews, they can't stop moving, they're just kind of squirming, yelling and talking to each other and throwing paper airplanes across the auditorium. These kinds of videos could maybe help sort of calm that down, letting them think about spiritual things rather than that crazy thing they did during the youth rally that Friday night or something like that. Any other special events or videos you've made for your youth ministry that might fall under this category? Those were the only two I could really think of.
We did for like 12 questions. We made a bunch of intro videos, special event.
It was especially for just different topics, just introducing that. It's a way it's a transition kind of thing, transition from coming into the auditorium and transitioning into maybe your youth rally or gospel meetings or 12 questions, stuff like that.
Have you, just a question, have you noticed a challenge in transitioning some congregations and using videos like this, and implementing them and getting people comfortable with it? I love the idea. I've been using it with my youth now for 3 years, but as long as it's in that safety bubble of just the kids. And we've got the projector and the technology to put it in the big room, but there's this, I don't know.
Are you talking about like during worship or something like that, or
I
just
would
talking
say
about
during
gospel?
worship, transition into, like you said, the transitioning videos. Let's say I'm doing a lesson on hope that day, and I found or made a great video to transition into that.
Man, I'd be careful with that, especially in worship settings. Elderships would struggle with that kind of thing, and that's really your most important thing there is talking with your eldership and seeing what they'd be comfortable with. I know with the 12 questions videos, when we went down there in Louisville, Texas, we did those videos, and it was just a talking head pretty much. We couldn't have any music in the background, and when I say music, I'm talking about instrumental music. I think we did have a cappella music in the background. And that was a gospel meeting type of thing. Here in worship settings, you're just going to have to talk to your eldership about that. I wouldn't put instrumental music or something like that in the background during a worship setting, but maybe a talking head, something like that. I don't know if I see a problem with that, but it's something definitely I have to talk with your eldership about first. Did that answer your question?
Pretty well. I just, I've used his material, Brandon Edwards' material, 12 questions. I've talked to youth with a lot of it. And it does really well, and it seems to set the tone for what we're about to learn. And I can see, and using it scripturally, obviously, and respecting, that time that we are to worship and not breaking that, obviously. But, I can see where a lot of this could be used more just in the same way you've described it here.
And the best ways we've used that, again, of course, is the gospel meetings, the youth rallies. Elderships just have less of a problem with doing it for those events than they would a Sunday morning worship. So I'd be cautious with that, but it wouldn't hurt to bring it up, I guess, too.
Just say communication's key. I mean, if you communicate with them and they know exactly what's supposed to happen, sometimes they'll tell you it's not a problem, sometimes they'll tell you it's a problem, and then you just kind of roll with it from that. But if you communicate with them and there's no surprises, that was always my rule with eldership, no surprises. I'm not going to post something that you have no clue what's about to happen. And then they're usually fine with it as long as they see it ahead of time and know what it's going to be.
And constant communication, too.
Yeah.
1 week they say, yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
Once they see it, feedback with them, too, is real important.
I guess I bring that up because I know when this was breaching the subject here, just using it with the youth and in the manners that we're talking about now. And so that's the only reason why I bring it up. I don't want to come off as that guy, but it's just I see where this is so helpful, and it's helped my kids tremendously in the ways that we've used it. Thank you.
Secondly, make sure I'm in the right order here. Live videos. You see this, I guess you do these as well too. Yeah, he's doing it right now too. Live videos through Facebook or through Instagram, you see these, Jerry Elder does all kinds of them. They're really neat to see just from I've never done a live video on Facebook till right now. But they're really neat to see just kind of the outreach Jerry Elder and Brandon Edwards and others have had. They've mentioned to me that it helps sort of keep their youth members up to date on things. If they missed last week's devotional, they can go online and see it, or if they're away on a vacation with their family, they can get online and see your video or your devotional live or later when they have the chance. It's free right now. If you have a phone, you can Facebook Live immediately, right? You could do it right now like Brandon's doing to me. On Facebook, it notifies I think all your friends. Same thing with Instagram. Facebook even saves the video so people can go back and watch it later. I don't think Instagram saves the videos right now. But who knows, they'll probably do it next week on the next update. Like I said, it's a major hit with other ministers. It also, a big important thing too, it lets parents know what you're doing. Parents see the devotionals. They see their kids sitting in the row, participating in Bible class or participating in the devotionals. And that is really, really, really important. Again, though, goes back to responsibility. Be mindful of what you say. Now that it's not just in that classroom setting, you're posting this all throughout the world, be mindful of what you say about other people in the youth group. You could be teasing and joking around and it might not come across like that online. Be careful about what you say about other church members. Be careful what you say about other religious organizations. Don't let this turn people away from God. Then the last one, I just saw him walk in. Derek Smith brought this one out to me. Videos for teaching aids. And just to be honest, this was not something I was thinking about during when I was preparing for this lecture. But when Derek pointed it out to me, it was an awesome idea, Derek. So I'm just going to read what he said. These are videos you don't necessarily have to make yourself. Stuff you can find online, like you said, the 12 questions video. There's all kinds of sources for these you can find. I'll mention here in a minute. Here's what Derek said. For example, one time I showed a video of a campus journal asking students if there was absolute truth, and we discussed in response to it. Another time I showed a video of a sheep responding to the shepherd's voice to illustrate Jesus' teachings. Students enjoyed these classes where video was utilized. I can see a difference in their energy and attention when they walked in the classroom and saw the video equipment set up. He also said, I see their engagement, I see their intention, I see their energy. I believe video in classrooms is more successful because it helps to connect us with each other. I know that the students enjoy watching something together and when discussing it together because it connects them and involves real interaction with real people. And I thought what was really cool about this, Derek, is you see kids all the time on their phones watching videos, and it's become an isolation thing now. But the videos in the classroom sort of been like an icebreaker for you, allowing the kids to interact with each other. It brings them together more and allows them to talk about spiritual matters when it seems like videos these days are isolating the kids and just keeping them to themselves. It's in the classroom, it's opening up to each other. It's breaking the ice so they can discuss spiritual matters and grow spiritually together rather than be isolated from one another. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Like I said, there's all kinds of sources you can get from these, and just looking up stuff on YouTube, you can find all kinds of stuff. There's things in and outside the Brotherhood, like the Jenkins Institute. Hidden Bridge Media, that's stuff Brandon Edwards is in charge of. If you haven't heard of that, look it up online. They got awesome work there. The AIM series, 12 questions, one-word studies, and I also mentioned the Skit guys. They're the ones that did God's Chisel video where you see the two guys and he's hitting chisel against the guy and he's saying, oh, that hurts. It's God chiseling off sin from this guy. They're not Church of Christ instituted, but they have a lot of great work. I actually met them through Brandon. They're awesome guys. I'd check out some of the stuff they do. next, I want to talk about tools to be able to do these things. First off, I want to talk about marketing and social media tips, hopefully quickly, and then also sort of your production tools. Social media is one of the best ways to reach your kids, and if you have the best video in the world, maybe you made a video like Brad Montague and Kid President, and it's going to be the next viral video. If you don't know how to market that, if you don't know how to get it into your kids' hands, it's worthless. You wasted your time on it. So I think this topic's really important, and I hope I don't step on any other classes on technology this week when I'm discussing this. But you got to understand, social media is impacting the kids both positively and negatively. Like I said earlier, it's isolating those kids. It's engraved in their mind. They got to have their phone in their hand all the time, and it can be dangerous. And if you're posting all kinds of stuff during youth events, and so all they're doing is looking at the pictures you posted, it's wasting your time as a minister posting that stuff too. So I want to briefly discuss some theory and stuff behind it, so you get an idea of what's going on in their heads while they're using this. Communication, just the definition of communication is just sending and receiving messages from one another. I'm communicating to you now. You're also communicating to me by the way you're looking at me like, man, he's stupid, or man, I love what you're saying. Think about it this way, face-to-face communication, when you're communicating that way, picture the avenue which communication is like a huge cave. Think of all the information you can be flooding. It's both words, it's body language, it's tone of voice, it's, lost my spot. It's facial expressions, hand gestures, touch. You can even communicate through smell. If they smell bad, you're stepping away like, I don't want to be with this person, you know. You can pass all kinds of communication through a tunnel this big. Media is any kind of message you send that is not through a physical interaction. So you think of, back in Bible times, media would have been writing something down on paper and sending that messenger to run across and hand them the piece of paper. Today we have all kinds of media. If it's FaceTime, if it's Facebook, if it's telephone, radio, television, all that is media. When we're not doing physical media, sending information, communicating this size, the media we use narrows down how much information we can send. Think of it this way, FaceTime. You're still able to look at the person, you're still able to talk to the person, just like if you were sitting with me today, just like I'm talking to this Facebook Live thing over here. But the amount of communication I can send compared to what I'm giving you and compared to what I'm doing with Facebook Live is like this guy right here, crawling through the caves and can barely get through, spelunking, and it's just that small little hole. Think communication, the amount of information you can push through there. And then also, when you're just calling somebody on the phone, or when you're sending pictures and videos and stuff to people, you're narrowing down your amount of communication you can use. Think about it, just a text message or Twitter where it's like 140 characters. It's like trying to put information through a straw. That's something you need to be mindful of. Physical communication, this size, communication like text message and stuff, you're only able to get just a tiny little bit through. And you also think about it, humans love to communicate with people. I think that's why most of us are here today at Lectureships, is because we want to reconnect with the old friends. Yeah, we can reconnect through Facebook, but you don't get that warm feeling that you do when you're sitting there seeing them face to face. Media is described, again, also as an extension of ourselves. It's not the physical communication, but it's like I can extend my voice through radio or through Facebook Live. I can, or the telephone. Television is an extension of our eyes and ears and the producer or the director's voice. Smartphones extend our eyes, ears, and voice. It also, we have media that controls time, which is kind of cool. Think of the on-demand stuff where you can watch it whenever you want. It's controlling time. So that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you see your best friend here at Lectureships, to if you were just to text your best friend, is the same. You get communication, and that warm fuzzy feeling you get is also limited by the size of the hole you're using. So also understand you're less satisfied when you're just communicating through text message. You're not building that relationship like you would otherwise. That's why videos can't save a person's soul or make you have those close relationships. It's because you're not sending enough information through to let them know you really care. But sadly today, our kids have found that even though it's less satisfying, it's a whole lot easier to communicate through a text message. Why? You don't have to control your tone of voice. You don't have to control your body language. You don't have to control how fast you respond. That really communicates all kinds of information to us. So kids have found it easier, but they also, it's one of the reasons why I think they're depressed all the time. You're seeing the suicide rates go up. Why? It's because they don't have real, deep, meaningful connections. They're sending information only through the straw size, rather than really getting real communication, building real, deep, meaningful relationships. It's almost become an addiction where kids are trying to fulfill a need that they have of deep, meaningful relationships, but just through a straw. It doesn't really fulfill what they need. So media has become their fix. They're addicted to it, and that's something we need to pay attention to. Something we can't really, I don't know if we can fix it as ministers, but something we really need to be conscious of. Really be trying to build real, deep, meaningful relationships with our kids, with the whole youth group together. Look for ways to build those kinds of relationships, and not just posting videos on Facebook and stuff, hoping that reaches out to them. And I say that too, look for the warning signs with your kids. Look to see when you walk into the classroom and they're all sitting there waiting for you to get there, are they all talking to one another, or are they just on their phones? If they're just on their phones, not saying a word to each other, but in their own personal bubble, do something to try to get them engaged together. Do something to get them to build deep, meaningful relationships. It'll help them both psychologically, emotionally, but it also might save their soul. If they have this need of a deep, meaningful relationship, what better way to fix that by giving them the relationship with God and a relationship with the church? So now, how can we use these tools in a positive manner? Now that I've just torn them down, telling them they're this terrible thing to kids, how can we use them in a positive manner, especially with posting videos? I tried to look for stats on what kids are using these days. Is it Twitter? Is it Facebook? Is it Snapchat? And the closest to today's stat I could find was in 2014. And I don't even know if all these existed in 2014. So what I would suggest to you, if you don't know which one to post on, poll your youth group, find out what they're on, because it really doesn't matter what the stats say. If your whole youth group is on Twitter and Facebook, post to Twitter and Facebook. If they're on Instagram and just Instagram, post to Instagram. Find out where your kids are. Don't get them to try. Don't tell them, I'm going to post all this stuff on Facebook and you need to get a Facebook account. No, don't do that. Go to where they are. Don't try to force them to go where you want to post stuff on. But I say that, but I'm also going to say, post everything to YouTube, and then link everything you have, like to Facebook and to Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. Push everything on YouTube to those other places. The reason why I like YouTube is it gives all kinds of stats and analysis on the outreach to your video. I'll give you an example. YouTube might say you have 100 views. Say you're a youth group from Tennessee, and it's got 70 views from Tennessee. 35 of the views from Tennessee were kids 12 to 18. So you know that number 35 is just to your youth kids, or at least to their friends as well too. 20 of them were 35 and 55, so you can understand that might be their parents. 15 were 55 and older, so that's either the creepy guy on Facebook that's watching your video, or it's their grandparents or other members of your congregation. Then you'll see like 10 views from Alabama. That might be their other friends, other youth groups looking at it. 15 from Kentucky, and then you might like have 2 from Africa and 3 from Mexico. And you're like, how in the world did they find my video? But that just helps you see how successful your video is in reaching your kids. It's got awesome statistics that you can look at. It also has stuff like, say your video was 1 minute long and the average watch time was 35 seconds. And you're like, okay, I can see most of my kids are watching it until this point in the video, and you'll know, get a better understanding of their attention span. But you also might see in Tennessee, the video average watch time was 55 seconds. So then you're realizing, oh, the kids that are actually watching my video are actually watching the whole thing. Just interesting stats and analysis, a lot of intel you can get to improve your reach and to improve your impact and video quality. Also be aware, I think on all these places now, they're going to have some copyright laws, so if you post that awesome song, you watch your video, the song might not play. That happened with one of the Verizon's videos I made when I posted it online. But then also, Facebook allows you to, or I think YouTube actually, they'll ask the person that owns the copyright of that song, hey, are you okay with so-and-so playing the song in your video? Sometimes they say yeah, and you can play that song, but then ads will pop up. So maybe just be mindful of some of that stuff. Make sure be a commercial ad or something like that's not popping up on your video. But they do let a lot of that stuff go by. That also goes to say be mindful of copyright laws and copyright issues when you're posting this kind of stuff. Don't be stealing stuff from other people. You can get the church and yourself in a whole lot of trouble. If you have any more questions about that, you can come talk to me a little later. Facebook. 81% of all Americans are on Facebook. 70% of Facebook users get on daily. That's a huge outreach. And even if your kids say, well, man, I don't really get on Facebook anymore. I'm just on Instagram. I'm just on Twitter. Post to Facebook because their parents are on Facebook. And that's, again, I've mentioned it before, really important to make sure the parents are involved. Really important to make sure they see what you're doing as well, too. I will mention if you post a video on Facebook, the number of views is a little skewed. You'll post something to YouTube and it'll say you got 26 views. Post something to Facebook and it looks like every single one of your friends on Facebook viewed it. Well, it probably did, but it was probably when they were scrolling down the screen, your video just kind of popped up and then kept going. You probably, when you're scrolling through Facebook, look at 100 videos, and those videos will count that a view every time you scroll down it, but you're not really watching it. So the views on Facebook are really known as more impressions, and that's where someone had a chance to see it, but they might have not engaged in watching it yet. So just be mindful of that. If you tell your congregation, man, I have 1,000 views on that last youth video, yeah, good for you, but that's probably not a true number, even though it's cool to say that number to your eldership. Again, to accurately assess this stuff, I'd suggest posting it to YouTube. If it's a 30-second video that's just reminding them of the lock-in, reminding them of the youth rally or something like that, go ahead and post it on Facebook. The numbers really, I don't know if they matter to you or not. It just kind of depends on your goal, what you're trying to get out of the video. But YouTube, you're going to get more of those numbers. Instagram is a huge hit with millennials right now, or not millennials, with just the younger generation in general. Why? Because mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa aren't on it yet. You see Facebook, everybody's on it. Instagram hasn't really hit that market yet, so it's just the younger audience. But Instagram is not designed to post your 2.5-minute highlight video. It's just those short little gorilla and banana costume kind of videos, you know. Those 30 seconds tops, 10 seconds at the most, really, put on Instagram. If you do have a YouTube video that's 2-3 minutes long that you want to post on Instagram, what I would do is maybe take a screenshot of the funniest thing that happened in that video, or maybe a 2 to 3 second little clip that can replay over and over, and then have the YouTube link underneath. That way it's still reaching out to them, and they can just click that link and it pops up immediately. Twitter. Twitter's real interesting. Actually, haven't been on Twitter until couple days ago when I found out all this information, I figured I probably should start seeing what all this social media stuff can do. Twitter has a lot of the same, intel that you can get from YouTube. When I posted on Twitter the other day, it had how many people, the impressions, how many people scrolled through and saw it. It had how many people liked my post. Also, I had a link to it, and I could see how many people clicked my link. I also had a picture on it. I could see how many people clicked on that picture. So it's got a lot of cool intel you can see on what your outreach is. But my advice on what you'd post on Twitter is the same thing as Instagram. I wouldn't post your 2.5 minute long video on Instagram. I'd post your 10-second video or your 30-second video. Then if you have one of those longer ones, take a screenshot of it, take a short little video clip of it, and put it on there with the YouTube link. But what's real important with Instagram, you have to post a picture. You have to post a video. Twitter, you don't. You have those, 140, 160 characters. But if you want your post to stand out from everybody else, you still need to post some sort of video, some sort of picture for it to get noticed. The last one on here, and I've been trying to kind of avoid it because I don't really like it, Snapchat. Man, I don't know what to say about this one. It's not practical for your long videos. Obviously, you can only post videos taking a picture on your phone. Actually, I think you can upload stuff that's in your phones. Like if you have a video on your phone, you can add it on Snapchat, but you can only post a comment on the actual picture.
I'm with you on Snapchat. A lot of the kids that I mentor and are with, they add me to their story, and it's horrifying some days. But if you're with your youth and you have this app, and I know a lot of parents, if they are invested and they care about their kids, they will have that app too. And they can follow your story, videos, pictures, whatever, where you are with your youth, with your kids, the same way you can with any of these other items. And I've seen a lot of parents who have come up to me, because I've tried to use it in that manner, in that positive manner, also showing the kids, that you can, that I see it too, and they see it. And I tell you, it has stifled a lot of the negative connotation and usage of that.
Yeah, it's really a judgment call, I guess. I know some youth ministers are like, I don't want to be on it because I don't want to show the kids I'm on it, to show that I approve of it. Others might be like what you were saying, to make sure the kids aren't posting anything inappropriate on it. I've seen now too, I have it on there just because I feel like if I'm going to be in media, I at least need to know what's going on it. I really don't like being on it at all. But that's also with their featured section. If you were to post something on their, say you made a youth group Snapchat, which I really don't advise you doing, but if you were to do that, you got your section right here where it shows your video, and you click on it and the kids can see whatever's going on. Right underneath it, right here, they scroll down and they're seeing things from Vogue magazine, they're seeing things from ESPN, BuzzFeed, Bleacher Report, MTV, Vice, Vogue. If you don't know what any of those are, go to the grocery store and look at the images that you see at the checkout line. That's what's on there. I just don't understand. I don't know how to say this properly. I'll say it mean, and you can take it for it. I don't understand why you post something with a church and right underneath it have the Kardashian nude pictures, and you're one click away from that. That's just my take on it. If your youth group, they're only on Snapchat, which I can't imagine in today's world. If they're only there and that's the only way you can reach them, and I'm saying an ultimatum statement here, if that's the only way you can reach them, by all means, post to it so they can see that. But if you have other ways to outreach to them, I would do anything I can not to have those kids have that temptation there where that's just one click away where they can see that kind of content.
Another thing with Snapchat, I have one, but I use it with friends from college and like my wife and people like that. But I don't friend the kids on Snapchat, not because of what I'll send to them, but what could be sent to me. And just that line of being appropriate, because just the idea of the capability of somebody can send me a picture that only us can see. It's not media where everybody can see, it's a direct picture between you and another person. And so I just play it safe, and I tell them I can't be your friend because it's a liability on this, but we can be friends on everything else. But that's my judgment call. It's how
And that goes with all the medias, yes, Kurt?
We got about 3 minutes.
Okay. That goes with all the medias. If you're direct messaging your kids, I'm not saying it's wrong to do that, but you just got to be real careful about any of this kind of stuff. Just be real mindful of what you're posting to them personally, especially in that more intimate kind of communication like that. Facebook Live, I've already mentioned, you can stream your videos, your youth rallies, or just crazy stuff that happens in your youth group. It's just a cool way to get that out there where people that aren't on the trips can engage. Be mindful though too, that you don't want your kids on the youth trip looking at what you're posting all the time. You want them actively engaging in the actual trips and the actual stuff that you're doing, rather than just being on their phones looking at it. Production tools. I'll just let you look at this real quick. iMovie is video production software you can use. Actually, all these are video production softwares. Mac is free for users. Final Cut Pro is just the iMovie on steroids. It's pretty awesome, but you can see the price there. Adobe Premiere, if you use Photoshop, if you use InDesign, stuff like that, the premium subscription has Premiere on it. You can look up videos on YouTube on how to use it. This one gets most of the blunt of the jokes to video producers. I haven't used it in probably 10 or 15 years, but that's there. If that's your only other option, by all means use it if you're wanting to make a video. Just understand you might get made fun of by some of your Mac users later on. Effects. Is it really worth using videos in your ministry? I'd like to touch on this. I'm just going to quote some people that sort of said some things to me about this. Chad Latham, I don't know if you know him or not. He does the AIM series, or the one-word studies. He's used videos on Facebook and Instagram. He said, I've noticed a 33% increase in the people who've registered on time for a retreat he did when he posted to Facebook. It shows me that doing a little work and making a funny 30-second video produces a positive response and helps us get more people registered on time. He also has a Wednesday night class, like a special Wednesday night class each month, where he invites the kids to come eat pizza and stuff like that. He said when he posted on Instagram, he said when he didn't post on Instagram, he had 10 to 12 kids show up. He said when he did, he had 35 to 40 show up. That's pretty cool. He asked the kids, why'd you show up? And they said, well, I saw your video on Instagram. So it's just an outreach, get them excited about coming to your events. I asked Jerry Elder about his Facebook Live stuff. The last garage video I saw he posted, which is his weekly devotionals, had 684 views. Remember, that's impressions because it's on Facebook, but that's 684 people that had a chance to see Jerry Elder's Devo. He tells his kids right before the Devo, he tells them to get on their phones, to get on Facebook, share his link that he just posted the videos, and then he says, put your phone back in your pockets and listen to me now. But that's awesome, because that's an evangelistic tool to all their friends. Their friends can see Joe Schmo sitting there in the front seat listening to Jerry Elder. You can ask him about it later at school. Maybe he wants to come to the Devo later. That's awesome. Brandon Edwards has mentioned similar things to me about videos. Brandon Jackson, which is the real reason why Brandon Edwards' videos look so good. He helps me. He's really the main cog in Horizons, making all the videos. He emphasized allowing kids to help produce them. He is a teacher in Lewisville, Texas, at one of the high schools. He teaches video production to high schoolers, which is awesome. He talks about how allowing kids to make the videos helps boost their self-esteem It helps them think about spiritual things. It makes them feel like they have a sense of responsibility and a worth to the church. And I think that is extremely important. I also mentioned already what Derek said about using the videos in classroom as aids and stuff like that and their impact. I think that's also important. Hopefully I've been able to give you a few tips today. If you have any questions, you can come talk to me. I also have a website that you can get all my contact information from, williamkbush.com. If you want to look at that and message me, email me, call me, or something like that, you can as well too. But I just urge you, more than anything, I hope you got away with, remember your purpose, why you're making your videos, because that changes the content, changes what the reason why you're making these videos. That's super important to make sure it aligns with your overall purpose as being a minister. Also, be aware of the responsibilities, but if you're thinking about these two things, God will make sure what you do, not just in videos, but in everything, will bear fruit for Him. Not just a little bit of fruit, but He will definitely, like He said in John chapter 15, He will make sure you bear a lot of fruit for the kingdom by doing this kind of thing. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, William.